Understanding people, mastering English. Introduction. We all want to be close to others. It's a deep, good feeling inside us. Think about a baby crying to be held, or friends laughing together. Talking to each other is like a thread that ties our lives together. It helps us share happy times. It helps us feel better when we are sad. It helps us make plans and understand what's happening around us. Wanting to really connect, to be heard, and to hear others is a very strong part of us. But sometimes, even when we try hard, our words don't come out right. We want to be friendly, but sometimes our talking feels wobbly. Learning English can feel like sailing on a very big sea. We might study many words and try to learn many grammar rules that seem to go on forever. Maybe you felt that sad moment when you know a word, but you can't think of it when you need it. Or maybe you nod your head, but you don't really understand what someone is saying. It's easy to feel stuck and think you're not good at languages. We try with books and classes, but sometimes the words just feel like words, not like the real things they mean. But what if there was a better way? What if the secret to learning English well wasn't just more practice, but understanding something much more important? What it means to be a person. This book is based on a big idea. If you understand people, why they do things, how they feel, and how they act naturally, you can learn and use English much better. We call this the main idea of human nature and English learning. It's a simple but true idea. By learning why people act the way they do, you can talk to them better. When you understand how people think, you start to understand language in a better, more natural way. You begin to see words as tools people use to show their feelings, their needs, and how they connect with others. This way of learning means that learning English can be an exciting adventure. It's not just about a new language, but about you and the people around you. Imagine learning new words not by saying them over and over, but by understanding why people want to feel safe and warm. Then you can learn words about cozy homes and nice feelings. Think about getting better at listening by noticing the small signs that show if someone is happy, worried, or just being kind. When you know why people like to tell stories, you will find it easier to remember sentences and speak in a more interesting way. This book will help you see these connections. It will make learning English easier to understand, easier to remember, and much more helpful. By looking at how people are, you will get more than just better English. You will understand yourself better. You will know how you learn best and how you naturally talk to people. This new confidence will help you in all parts of your life. You will talk to people better in any situation. Learning English will change from something hard to something fun. It will be a way to connect with the world more deeply. You will not just speak English, you will truly live it. You will understand the small things that make talking interesting and important. We will go on this trip together through this book. Each part will show a different way people act. It will show you, in simple ways, how to use that idea to get better at English. We will see why people want to belong and how that changes how we say hello, or how our natural wanting to know things helps us learn new phrases. This is not just about remembering rules. It's about understanding talking itself in a deeper way. Are you ready to see how understanding people helps you learn English? Let's start this trip. 1. Learning English for everyone. Learning English is a fun trip for everyone. It doesn't matter where you are from, what you did before, or how old you are. You can learn and talk in English. This sounds easy, but it's a very important idea. It's like saying everyone can see a pretty sunset or feel the warm sun. These are things all people share. Learning and talking to others is also something all people can do. Our book, Understanding People, Mastering English, has a strong idea. It says that if you know how people work, what they feel deep inside, what they hope for, and why they do things, learning English becomes much easier and better. This is not just for very smart people or those who are already good with languages. It's for you. It's for everyone. Think of it like this. The law of human nature is about the things that make us all human. We all want to feel like we belong. We all want others to understand us. We all want to get better at things. We all have fears, and we all have dreams. These feelings and wants are like a secret code that is the same for every person on earth. Because this code is the same everywhere, how we learn to understand it can also be the same everywhere. And that's how it helps us learn English. Often, when people try to learn English, they hit small walls. Maybe they feel shy to make mistakes. Maybe they get bored fast. Or they might feel that English is too big and confusing. These are not problems with you. They are problems with how we often try to teach and learn. Many old ways of learning focus only on rules and memorizing words. But they forget the most important thing, the person learning. They forget about you and what makes you work. This is where knowing human nature helps. When we see why people have trouble, we see that these learning walls often come from deep human feelings. For example, being afraid to make mistakes is very common. Because we humans really want to be liked and not look silly. We want to feel good about ourselves. If learning English makes us feel awkward or judged, our natural human feeling is to pull back. But if we understand this fear, if we know it's a normal human feeling, we can handle it. We can find ways to learn that make you feel safe to try, even if you make mistakes. We can learn to see mistakes not as failures, but as steps forward. This is a main idea from knowing human nature. We can work with our natural feelings, not against them. By knowing why you might feel shy, we can find ways to make learning English feel less scary and more like an adventure. This way of learning also means that learning English can be special and personal for each person. Not everyone learns the same way. Some people love to read and write. Others learn best by listening and talking. Some are happy when they make new friends, while others are driven by wanting to reach a goal like getting a better job. Knowing human nature helps us see these differences. It helps us understand what truly makes a person want to do something. Do they want to talk to people from other countries? Do they want to understand movies without reading the words? Do they want to travel and feel sure when they speak? When we know these personal whys, we can find the best ways for that specific person to learn English. It's like choosing the right path for your own special trip. For example, imagine two people, Maria and Kenji. Maria wants to learn English so she can talk to her new neighbors from America. She really wants to make friends. So, for Maria, learning English by talking simply, maybe joining a group where people practice speaking, or watching friendly TV shows would be perfect. The focus would be on making friends. Kenji, on the other hand, wants to learn English to get a better job at his company. He really wants to do well in his career. For Kenji, learning business English, practicing giving talks, and reading articles about his work might be better. The focus would be on doing well at work. Both Maria and Kenji are using the same language, English, but their ways of learning are different because what they want deep down is different. The law of human nature helps us see this and make the learning fit the person. It's not about making everyone learn the same way. It's about finding the key that opens up your own way of learning. And this leads us to a very important point. English is a language, and languages are all about connecting with other people. Humans are social beings. We are made to connect, to share, to understand each other. This deep human need to connect is a powerful force for learning. When you learn English, you are learning a new way to connect with millions of people around the world. You are opening doors to new friends, new cultures, and new ideas. Knowing this basic human drive, the wish to connect, makes your English learning much more meaningful. It's not just about memorizing words, it's about building bridges. Think about the happiness of finally understanding a song you love, or being able to talk a little with someone from another country. These moments of connection are very rewarding, and they make you want to learn more. When you know why you want to connect, your desire to practice, to listen, and to speak becomes much stronger. This is the power of using human nature to guide your English learning. Besides understanding others, this journey is also about understanding yourself. Learning about human nature is, in a way, learning about the best parts of yourself. When you start to see why people act the way they do, you also begin to understand your own reactions, your own strengths, and your own problems. Knowing yourself is very powerful. If you know that you sometimes feel sad when things get hard, that's a very normal human thing. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're human. Knowing this helps you be nicer to yourself. You can be ready for those times and have plans. You can feel happy about your small wins more easily. This confidence, built on knowing yourself, is a big help in learning something as big as a new language. Let's think about something that happens a lot. Many learners worry about their accent. They might think, my English doesn't sound like someone who grew up speaking it, so it's not good enough. This worry often comes from wanting to fit in, to be liked. It's a natural human feeling. But what if we change how we see it? What if we understand that having your own voice, your own accent, is part of what makes you special? What if we see that talking clearly is more important than sounding exactly like someone else? Knowing human nature helps us see that wanting to be liked doesn't have to mean losing who you are. It can mean finding your voice and using it with confidence. It means sharing your thoughts and feelings well, no matter your accent. This change in how you think, guided by knowing what makes people act, can free you from worries you don't need and let you focus on what really matters, sharing yourself. The good thing about this way of learning is that it makes learning English possible for everyone. It doesn't matter if you are a student in a busy city, a parent at home, someone working long hours, or someone who hasn't studied for many years. The ideas about human nature are the same. The desire to learn, to connect, and to grow is in all of us. Think about someone like Aisha. Aisha is a mother with 3 young children. She dreams of helping her children with their English homework, but she feels she has hardly any time to rest, let alone study. She worries that she is too old to learn and that her brain isn't as fast as it used to be. These are very common feelings for busy parents. Wanting her children to do well is a strong human drive. Feeling like there's too much to do is also very human. Instead of telling Aisha she needs to find hours to study, we can use what we know about human nature. We can look at what she really wants, her love for her children and her wish to help them. We can then find ways for her to learn English in small, easy steps. Maybe she can listen to English songs while she cooks. Perhaps she can watch short English cartoons with her children and learn together. Even just a few minutes each day, driven by her strong love, can make a big difference. This isn't about finding more time. It's about using the time she has better by using her deepest human drives. Or think about Mr. Chen, who was retired. He always wished he could speak English to talk to tourists who visit his town. He feels shy because he thinks his English is too simple. His wish to connect with others and help his town is a strong human drive. His fear of not being good enough is also a natural human feeling. For Mr. Chen, the focus could be on simple, useful phrases that help him connect. We could help him understand that his goal isn't to give a formal speech, but to share a smile and a friendly hello. By knowing his wish to connect and his fear of being judged, we can build his confidence little by little. We can focus on the happiness of simple talking, which is a basic human pleasure. These stories, and many others like them, show that learning English is not a far-off dream for only a few people. It is a real possibility for everyone. By knowing the universal laws of human nature, we can bring out the potential inside each of us. We can break down the walls that seem to be in our way and build bridges to new chances and connections. The trip to mastering English is a human trip, and it starts with knowing ourselves and the people around us. It's about seeing that the wish to learn and connect is one of the strongest things we have, and it belongs to all of us. By knowing a basic human trait, like the wish to belong, we can directly use that to help improve English speaking skills. When we know that people naturally want to feel part of a group, we can create or join English conversation groups. In these groups, the shared goal of learning and practicing English creates a feeling of belonging. People feel more comfortable speaking because they are with others who share their journey and their problems. The fear of making mistakes is less because everyone is there to help each other. This understanding of belonging turns a task that might feel scary, speaking a new language, into a helpful and encouraging social time. What are the most common mental blocks learners face in learning English? They include fear of mistakes, not enough drive, feeling like there's too much information, and not believing in yourself. The law of human nature offers a special way to get past these for any learner, because it deals with the deep human reasons behind them. Instead of just telling learners to try harder, it explains why they feel these things. Fear of mistakes comes from wanting to be accepted. Not enough drive comes when learning doesn't connect with personal wishes or values. Feeling like there's too much to do is normal when we don't see a clear path ahead. Not believing in yourself often comes from comparing yourself to others. By knowing these deep human tendencies, we can offer good ways to help. For fear, we say that mistakes are tools for learning, not failures. For drive, we help learners find their personal why, their own reasons for learning. For feeling overwhelmed, we break learning into small, manageable steps. For not believing in yourself, we focus on your own progress and celebrate your personal wins. This way isn't a set of strict rules, it's a flexible plan that changes for each learner, making English possible and achievable for everyone, no matter their background or what they've done before. By seeing that the wish to learn and connect is a basic human drive, we've seen how learning English isn't a special club, but an open invitation. Now, let's look at the specific ways that knowing the motivations and actions of others can reveal the secrets to mastering English words and understanding what you read or hear. 2. Understanding how people think. We often think that to speak English well, we must know all the words and grammar perfectly. This is very important, yes. But there is something even more helpful that can make your English shine. It is understanding the people you talk to. English is a way to connect with others. If we don't understand how people think, our words might not be understood, even if they are correct. This is where the idea of human nature and English learning comes in. It means using what we know about why people do and think things to become better English speakers. Let's start with a simple idea that can change how you learn and use English. People see the world in different ways. Imagine you and a friend look at the same picture. You might see bright colors and feel happy. Your friend might see dark shadows and feel a little sad. The picture is the same, but your thoughts about it are different. This happens because each of us has personal filters. These filters are made from our life experiences, our beliefs, our culture, and even how we feel on a certain day. When we hear or see something, these filters shape how we understand it. For example, imagine you are learning English and you hear someone say, "That's an interesting idea." If you feel confident and open, you might think, "Great, they are curious." But if you feel shy or have had bad experiences before, you might worry, "Are they being mean? Do they think my idea is bad?" See how the same words can cause different thoughts and feelings inside us. How does this help your English? When you speak or write English, if you can imagine the other person's filters, you can choose your words more carefully. If you think someone might be shy, you can use softer, more encouraging words. Instead of saying, "You must do this," you could say, "Maybe we could try this way, what do you think?" This shows you care about their feelings and helps them feel more comfortable. It's not about changing what you want to say, but about how you say it so they understand it well. It makes your English work better because it connects with how they think. Besides these personal filters, our thoughts are also shaped by what we want or need. We call these our motivations. People are driven by many things: wanting to feel safe, wanting to be liked, wanting to reach goals, or wanting to avoid pain. These deep desires affect what we notice, what we worry about, and how we speak English. Think about a classroom where you practice English. Some students speak up quickly and often. Their motivation might be to impress the teacher or to feel they have achieved something. Others stay quiet, even if they know the answer. Their motivation might be to avoid making a mistake or feeling embarrassed. If you understand this, you can change how you act. If you are in a group, you might help the quiet students by saying, "Does anyone else have a thought on this?" Or your ideas are all important. This shows you know they might want to avoid judgment and invites them to join in a way that feels safe. This also helps when you listen to English. If you are listening to someone, try to guess what they want. Are they trying to be helpful? Are they worried about something? Are they trying to convince you? If someone is trying to convince you to buy something, they will use different words and a different tone than someone who is just sharing information. Understanding their motivation helps you understand their message better. It helps you understand their English more easily. One of the biggest problems in talking to people, and so in learning English, comes from our guesses. We constantly guess what other people are thinking or why they are doing something. For example, if a friend doesn't reply to your text message right away, you might guess they are angry with you. But what if they are just very busy at work, or their phone battery is dead? Your guess, based on your own worries or past experiences, might be completely wrong. These guesses can cause big misunderstandings, especially in a new language. You might hear a phrase in English and quickly guess it means something bad, when the speaker meant it in a good way. For example, if someone says, "You were late," in English, it could just be a statement of fact. But if you guess they are angry and judging you, you might become defensive, which can create tension. To avoid this, we need to know our own guesses and try to question them. When you are learning English and you feel confused or think someone is being rude, stop for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I guessing here? Could there be another reason for their words or actions? Maybe they are not being rude. Maybe their English is not perfect and they are trying their best to say what they mean. Or maybe they come from a different culture where being direct is normal. This awareness helps you choose your English answers more wisely. Instead of reacting to your guess, you can ask questions to understand better. If you think someone is upset, you could say, "I wanted to make sure I understood correctly. Is everything okay?" This gives them a chance to explain their real thoughts or feelings, instead of you acting on a wrong guess. It's a way of using your understanding of people to make your English communication smoother and more successful. So, how do these ideas about thinking, filters, motivations, and guesses directly help you master English? It's all about connecting. When you understand that people have different inner worlds, you can change your English to reach them better. Let's think about choosing words. If you know someone likes details, you might use more exact English words. If you know someone likes the main idea, you might use more general words and focus on the main point. For example, if you are explaining a project and you know your listener likes details, you might say, "We will need to finish the budget by Tuesday," deciding exactly how much money for marketing, research, and making the product. The research part will need 3 main studies and each will need a detailed plan. But if they prefer the main idea, you might say we need to sort out the budget soon. The main focus is on marketing, research, and making the product to make sure this project is a success. The main message is the same, but the English used is changed to fit how you think they think. When it comes to listening, understanding motivations can be a secret help. If you are trying to understand a difficult conversation in English, try to listen for what the speakers want. Are they trying to solve a problem? Are they trying to show they are unhappy? Are they looking for agreement? By listening for these basic needs, you can often understand the main point of their English, even if some words are hard to understand. It's like hearing the music behind the words of a song. And when it comes to speaking, knowing about guesses helps you avoid common mistakes. Many misunderstandings in English happen because one person guesses that the other understands something they don't, or guesses a certain reason behind words. By pausing and thinking, what might they be guessing about me or about this situation? You can stop misunderstandings before they start. You can choose English phrases that are clear and open, inviting them to share their thoughts. For instance, instead of just saying something as a fact, you might say, "From my point of view, this is how it looks." This shows that your view is one of many. The main idea here, the heart of human nature and English learning, is that learning English is not just about remembering rules. It's about learning to connect with other people. And to connect, we need to understand them. By paying attention to how people think, their unique filters, their driving motivations, and the guesses they make, we gain a powerful advantage. We can choose our English words more wisely, listen better, and speak with more clarity and impact. This makes your English learning journey not only more successful, but also much more enjoyable. This understanding of how people think is like having a map. Without a map, you might walk around, hoping to find where you want to go. With a map, you can plan your way, avoid problems, and reach your goal more directly. In learning English, understanding people gives you that map. It helps you move through the challenges of talking to others, making your journey smoother and your goal, speaking English well and with confidence, much easier to reach. Now that we have looked at how people think and how this affects our English, we can move to the next step. We have seen that people don't all think the same. We have touched on the reasons why, their unique filters, their hidden motivations, and the guesses they make. Understanding these hidden forces helps us choose our English words better, listen more deeply, and communicate more clearly. It's about building connections with our language, not just speaking it. This journey into understanding others is key to reaching your full potential in English. The next part of our exploration will look more closely at the main rules that guide how people act. We will look at some of the core parts of human nature that, once understood, can truly change how you learn and use English. It's about going from just knowing the words to truly connecting with the people who use them. 3. Improving yourself every day. It feels good to get better, doesn't it? Like a plant reaching for the sun or a river finding its way to the sea. We all want to be better, to know more, and to do things a little bit better each day. In this book, we've talked about how understanding people, how they think and act, can help us learn English. But this idea is bigger than just English. It's about becoming a better you. Think about it. When you learn why people do things, it's like getting a new tool. You can use that tool to understand your English teacher or people in English-speaking countries. But you can also use it to understand yourself. When you know yourself better, you can make small, smart changes in your life. These changes might seem small at first, but over time, they become something amazing. This is how you get better every day, and it makes learning English easier and more meaningful. Let's see how this happens. Small habits, big change. We often think big changes need big actions. We might think, I must study English for 3 hours every day to be good. Or I need to change who I am to be more confident. But that's not usually how it works. The best way to get better is by building small, regular habits. This is where understanding people helps. Imagine you find it hard to wake up early to study English. You might think you are lazy. But if you understand people a bit, you might know that our bodies and minds don't like sudden, big changes. Instead of forcing yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, what if you tried waking up just 15 minutes earlier for a week? Then the next week, maybe another 15 minutes. This small, easy step works with how people naturally change. It's much easier to build a new habit when it doesn't feel like a hard fight. The same is true for learning English words. Instead of trying to learn 50 new words at once, which can feel like too much, what if you decided to learn just 5 new words every day? You could write them down, say them out loud, and try to use them in a simple sentence. 5 words a day, every day, is over 1,800 words in a year. That's a lot of new words, all built from a small regular habit. People change slowly and steadily, and this is often better than trying to do too much at once. We get used to doing things the same way, and by choosing our habits well, we can change our lives and our learning in big ways. Knowing yourself is key before we can build anything new, especially something as important as growing as a person. We need to know that ground we are standing on. This ground is our own mind, our feelings, and our usual ways of acting. This is called knowing yourself. The law of human nature helps us understand how we work inside. Think about why you sometimes feel shy when you need to speak English. Is it because you are afraid of making mistakes? Or you worry about what others will think? Maybe you feel you are not good enough. Understanding these common feelings, being afraid of failing, wanting others to like you, helps us see that our shyness is not a personal problem, but a normal human feeling. When we see this, we can start to handle it more kindly and better. For example, if you know you often avoid hard talks, maybe in English or your own language, you can choose to have one small hard talk each week. This doesn't mean starting a big fight. It could be as simple as asking a question when you don't understand something in English, even if you feel a little nervous. By knowing you tend to avoid things, you can then choose to act differently. This choice, acting against your usual way, is where growth happens. Knowing yourself also helps us be more patient when learning English. We might get upset when we can't understand a grammar rule or when our speaking isn't perfect. But if we understand that learning a language is a hard process that takes time for everyone, we can be kinder to ourselves. We can see that mistakes are not signs of failing, but chances to learn. This gentle way, which comes from knowing yourself, makes learning more pleasant and effective. It's like giving yourself permission to be new at something, and that permission feels very good. Using ideas everywhere. The great thing about understanding people is that the lessons work everywhere. The same ideas that help us learn English can also help us in many other parts of our lives. This creates a good cycle. When you get better in one area, it often helps other areas, including your English learning. Let's think about how people need to connect with others. We are social beings. We do well when we feel understood and accepted. How does this help in daily life? If you feel lonely, instead of waiting for others to talk to you, you can start. Maybe you can call a friend, join a group, or even say something kind to someone you don't know. By understanding that connecting with others is a basic human need, you can make it happen. Now, how does this help your English? When you feel more connected and less alone, you are more likely to want to practice your English. You might feel more comfortable joining an English-speaking group, or talking to someone who speaks English as their first language. Your better social skills, which come from understanding the need to connect, make you a more confident and willing English learner. Another example is wanting to be good at things. We all want to feel skilled. When you use this in your daily life, you might try to get better at your job or become better at a hobby. As you have success and feel more skilled, your confidence grows. This new confidence naturally helps your English learning. You might be more willing to try speaking, even if you're not perfect, because you believe more in your ability to learn and improve. So, by using the law of human nature to improve your friendships, handle stress, or even just organize your day better, you are becoming a better and more capable person. This stronger, more confident, and more connected person is ready to learn and use English better. It's not about learning English apart from improving your life. It's about improving your life in a way that naturally helps your English learning. The law is your daily guide. If we think of the law of human nature as just interesting ideas, it's easy to forget them. But the real change happens when we use these ideas as a daily guide, helping us act and understand. It's about making these ideas part of how we go through the world every moment. Imagine you are in a situation where someone seems angry or upset. Instead of getting angry or scared yourself, you can stop. You can ask yourself, what might this person be feeling? Maybe they feel like no one is listening, or they are stressed or misunderstood. By using your understanding of people, that people often act out when their needs are not met, you can choose to respond more calmly and with more care. You might try to listen more closely or speak more softly. This doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but it can help make the situation better and lead to a more positive result. This ability to pause and think about another person's view is very useful. When you practice this in your daily life, you are also practicing a key part of good talking, which is very important for learning English. When you speak English, you will meet people with different backgrounds and feelings. Your habit of looking beyond what you see, of trying to understand what people need deep down, will make you a more thoughtful and effective talker. You'll be better at understanding social hints, tone of voice, and how to reply well. Think of it this way. Learning English gives you the words, but understanding people helps you know how and when to use those words to truly connect with someone. It's the difference between just speaking a language and truly communicating. By making the law of human nature your daily guide, you are not just learning English, you are learning to be a more thoughtful, understanding, and effective person. And that, in turn, opens up many new possibilities for your language learning journey. The happiness of getting better. One of the strongest things that makes us keep going is the feeling of getting better at something. When we see ourselves improving, it feels very good. This happiness of progress is a deep part of who we are. We are made to grow and get skilled. Let's say you have been working on your English speaking sounds. You have been practicing saying hard sounds, and for a long time, it felt strange and not natural. But then, one day, you are talking, and you say a word perfectly, and the person you are talking to understands you right away. That moment of success, that small spark of achieving something, is pure happiness. It's a clear sign that your hard work is paying off. This feeling of success is even better when we understand why we are succeeding. When you realize that your better speaking sounds are because of your regular practice, your patience with yourself, and your understanding of how your mouth and tongue make sounds, a little bit of understanding people at work. The feeling of happiness is even deeper. You're not just getting better at English, you're showing yourself that you can learn and grow. This happiness of progress makes you want to keep going. When you have this good feeling, effort leads to progress leads to happiness leads to more effort. The hard parts of learning English become much easier to handle. You start to look forward to the next small win, the next new word you learn, the next sentence you say with confidence. This is why we say that understanding people is not just about ideas, it's about using those ideas to make real, felt improvements. It's about building a life where you are always learning, growing, and feeling the deep happiness that comes from becoming a better version of yourself, day by day. And as you create this way of thinking about always getting better, your English learning will naturally do well, becoming a happy part of your growing world. The way ahead. By choosing to get better every day, using what you learn about people, you are building a strong base. You are not just learning English, you are building strength, knowing yourself better, and having a positive outlook. These are the things that will help you not only with language learning, but with all of life's challenges and chances. As we continue our journey, we will see how these same ideas of improving yourself and understanding people can be used in the complex way people talk to each other, especially through English. We'll explore how to use this knowledge to build stronger connections, talk better, and truly master speaking with others. This readiness to always learn, this way of thinking about growth, is exactly what helps us take on the next step, understanding the small differences in how people talk in English, which we will explore in the next part. 4. Books as your best friends. Books can be like quiet friends. They sit on your shelf, always there, waiting for you. When you open them, they welcome you into new worlds, introduce you to interesting people, and share amazing ideas. For anyone learning English, books are more than just stories or information. They are powerful tools, like a secret weapon, that can help you understand people better and speak English more confidently. Think about it. When you read a book, you are stepping into someone else's shoes. You see the world through their eyes. You feel their happiness and their sadness. You understand why they make the choices they do, even if those choices seem strange at first. This is exactly what learning about people is all about. It's about understanding why people act the way they do. And guess what? Books are fantastic teachers of this. Let's say you are reading a story about a character who is always late. At first, you might just think, this person is lazy. But as you read more, you might discover they are late because they are very worried about making mistakes, or perhaps they have a lot of things they are trying to manage at home. Suddenly, you don't just see them as late, you understand the reason behind their lateness. This makes you understand them better as a person. This same understanding is incredibly useful when you are learning English. People don't always say exactly what they mean. Sometimes they use words that have a hidden feeling behind them. For example, if someone says, "Oh, that's interesting," with a certain tone of voice, they might not really think it's interesting at all. They might actually be a little bit surprised or even disappointed. If you only know the dictionary meaning of interesting, you might miss the real message. But when you read books, especially stories that show characters' thoughts and feelings, you start to pick up on these small clues. You learn to read between the lines. You see how a character's actions and their words might not always match perfectly. This skill of understanding what's really going on with a person is a huge part of mastering English. It's about understanding the human being behind the words. The connection between reading about people and learning English is very strong. Our idea, human nature and English learning, tells us that understanding how people think and act helps us learn English better. Books are a perfect place to practice this. They show us the patterns of human behavior in a safe and interesting way. Reading also builds your word knowledge. But it's not just about learning new words. It's about seeing those words used in real situations, with real people. When you learn a word like frustrated from a dictionary, you know its meaning. But when you read about a character who is frustrated because their computer won't work, you see and feel what that frustration is like. You understand the situation that causes it. This makes the word stick in your mind much better. You learn not just the word, but the feeling and the situation. This is so much more powerful than just memorizing lists of words. Imagine you're learning the word hesitate. If you just see it in a list, it's a bit boring. But if you read a sentence like, "He hesitated before telling her the bad news," his heart pounding, you immediately understand why he is hesitating. You understand the fear or the worry behind that action. This makes the word much more meaningful and easier to remember. It also helps you understand when and how you might use hesitate in your own English conversations. Beyond word knowledge, books help you develop empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. When you read about characters who are different from you, who have different problems and different ways of living, you start to understand their point of view. You can imagine yourself in their situation. This is a vital skill for communication. In English, as in any language, being able to understand where someone else is coming from makes you a much better listener and speaker. You are less likely to misunderstand them and more likely to respond in a way that shows you care and understand. Think about a time you had a disagreement with someone. If you can put yourself in their shoes, you can often find a way to talk about the problem more calmly and find a solution. Reading books gives you lots of practice in this. You get to practice understanding many different kinds of people and many different kinds of problems. This makes you more open-minded and better at navigating conversations, especially when English is not your first language and you might be worried about making mistakes. Reading also sharpens your understanding skills. You have to follow stories, understand characters' reasons for acting, and grasp complex ideas. This is like training your brain to be a better detective. When you read, you are constantly figuring things out. You are figuring out what the author is trying to say, what the characters are thinking, and what might happen next. This active process of figuring things out is exactly what you need to do when you are listening to someone speak English. You need to listen not just to the words, but to the meaning behind them, the tone of voice, and the situation of the conversation. For example, if you are reading a mystery novel, you are actively trying to solve the puzzle. You are looking for clues, trying to understand the character's secrets, and guessing what will happen. This same skill of thinking carefully is what you use when you are in an English conversation. You are trying to understand the other person's message, their feelings, and their intentions. Books give you this practice in a fun and exciting way. One of the best things about books is that they are always available and you can learn at your own speed. You don't have to worry about holding up a class or feeling rushed. If you don't understand a sentence, you can read it again. You can look up words you don't know. You can pause and think about what you've read. This learning at your own speed is incredibly important for learning a language. It builds confidence because you are in control of your learning. You can take your time to really absorb the language and the ideas. This is where the idea of human nature and English learning really shines. By choosing books that explore human behavior, you are not just learning English, you are learning about the people you will be speaking English with. You are building a bridge between your own experiences and the experiences of others. So, what kind of books are best? Of course, books that directly discuss human nature, like those exploring psychology or how people live together, are excellent. They can give you direct insights into why people behave in certain ways. But don't stop there. Stories are incredibly powerful. Novels, short stories, even plays, they all offer windows into the human heart. Look for stories with well-developed characters. These are characters that feel real, with their own strengths, weaknesses, hopes, and fears. As you read about them, ask yourself questions. Why did this character say that? How do they feel right now? What are they hoping to achieve? What is their biggest fear? By asking these questions, you are actively engaging with the text and practicing your understanding of why people act the way they do. This makes the learning much deeper. For instance, imagine you are reading a story about a character named Maya. Maya is trying to start a new business, but she keeps facing problems. Maybe she is afraid to ask for help because she thinks people will judge her. As you read about Maya's struggles, you are learning about the human fear of being judged and how it affects our actions. This understanding can help you notice similar fears in people you meet and understand why they might be hesitant to speak up in English. You might even find yourself using English words like apprehensive or self-conscious more naturally because you have seen them used in connection with Mia's feelings. Another example could be a character who is very proud and finds it hard to admit when they are wrong. Reading about this character helps you understand pride and its effects. You learn that sometimes people will argue or defend themselves even when they know they are mistaken because their pride is hurt. This insight is invaluable when you encounter difficult conversations in English. You can recognize this human tendency and perhaps approach the conversation with more patience and understanding, knowing that the other person might be struggling with their own pride. How can you actively engage with a book to get the most out of it? It's more than just reading the words. Try keeping a notebook. When you find a new word that seems interesting or useful, write it down. But don't just write the word. Also write the sentence where you found it. Then try to write your own sentence using that word, perhaps about your own life or something you've observed. This active practice helps the word move from your passive understanding to your active vocabulary. Also, in your notebook, jot down observations about the characters. What makes them tick? What are their main strengths and weaknesses? How do they communicate with each other? Are they direct or indirect? Do they use slang? Do they interrupt each other? By noting these things, you are directly applying the human nature and English learning idea. You are studying human behavior as it's shown in the book and thinking about how that behavior influences the language used. For example, you might notice that one character always uses very polite phrases, like "would it be too much trouble?" if while another character is much more direct, saying, "give me the report." By writing these down, you are not just collecting words, you are collecting examples of different communication styles. You are learning how politeness or directness is expressed in English. This will make you a more adaptable and effective communicator. Consider a character who uses a lot of humor, even in difficult situations. What does this tell you about them? It might show resilience, or perhaps a way to cope with stress. Understanding this human trait can help you interpret similar behavior in English speakers. You might learn to appreciate their humor more, or understand that it's their way of managing a tough situation. Books also provide a safe space to practice your own English. You can read aloud. This helps you improve your pronunciation and how smoothly you speak. You can even try to retell a part of the story in your own words. This forces you to use the words and sentence structures you've encountered. It's like practicing a speech in front of a mirror, but with the added benefit of engaging with a rich story. The beauty of books is that they are easy to get. In today's world, you can find books on almost any topic, in many different forms. Libraries are treasure troves, and online resources offer countless options. You can find simple stories for beginners or more complex novels as you grow more confident. The key is to find books that genuinely interest you. When you are interested in the story or the topic, learning becomes a joy, not a chore. Think of a book not just as something to read, but as a conversation partner. You are interacting with the author's ideas, the characters' lives, and the world they create. And through this interaction, you are also interacting with the English language in a very deep and meaningful way. You are learning how people express themselves, how they connect with each other, and how they navigate the world. This is the heart of our idea. Understanding people helps you master English. So, let books be your constant companions. Let them be your guides into the fascinating world of human nature and your allies in the journey of mastering English. They offer a rich, patient, and endlessly rewarding path to understanding both yourself and others and to speaking English with greater confidence and clarity. Just as a wise friend offers guidance and new perspectives, books can be our most reliable companions in navigating the complexities of both human behavior and the English language. But the true power of these companions is unlocked when we don't just read them, but actively talk with them, and more importantly, with the world around us, using the insights we gain. In the next section, we will explore how to turn this passive reading into active engagement, transforming our understanding of people into more confident and effective English communication. Conclusion: as we finish our trip together, let's stop and look back at the road we walked. We started with a simple question: how can knowing about people help us learn English better? What we found, bit by bit, is that these two ideas are tied very closely. Learning about how people are, about why we think and act the way we do, is not just for understanding friends or family. It's a strong key that opens doors to learning English more easily and with more fun. Remember, when we looked at how wanting to be with others makes us want to talk, we saw how this basic human need makes learning new words and phrases feel more normal when we imagine using them to talk to someone, or think about being afraid to make mistakes, a feeling we all know well. By understanding this fear, we found ways to be braver when we speak, to see mistakes not as failures, but as steps to get better. We learned that the rules of human nature are not just ideas, they are helpful guides. They show us that the best ways to learn English are often the ways that feel most human, through stories, through sharing what we go through, and through really wanting to connect. The main idea of our book, Human Nature and English Learning, is about using this understanding to make your English studies simpler and more successful. We saw how knowing that people want to do well can help you set clear goals for your learning. We looked at how understanding that we often notice things that are important to us can help you listen better, focusing on the main ideas even when the words are new. And when it comes to speaking, we use the idea that people want to be understood to help you focus on talking clearly instead of worrying too much about perfect grammar. It's like having a secret map that shows you the fastest way to speak well. Now, you have a box of these helpful ideas. What can you do with it? When you listen to English, remember that people naturally try to make hard things simple. Try to get the main idea first, like you would in any talk. Don't get stuck on every single word. When you speak, focus on the human need to share and connect. Your aim is to be understood, not to be a perfect robot. Let your true self show. Think about how people naturally remember things. We remember stories, we remember things that make us feel something, and we remember things that are said again in different ways. Use this when you learn new words. Try to make a small story around a new word, or imagine a funny picture, or connect it to something you already know. This makes words stick much better than just looking at a list. Understanding grammar can also be easier when you see it through how people are. People are naturally good at finding patterns. Instead of just memorizing rules, try to see why they make sense. How do people naturally put words together to share an idea? When you see these patterns, grammar becomes less like a hard puzzle and more like understanding how language moves. But what we've learned helps with more than just learning English. The skills you've gained, being patient, understanding others, being able to see things from another person's view, these are gifts that make every part of your life better. The confidence you get from speaking English more clearly can help you say what you mean more strongly in your job, with your friends, and even in your own thoughts. Being able to listen more carefully to English speakers will naturally make you a better listener in all your talks, leading to deeper friendships and fewer mix-ups. You see, understanding how people are is like learning a language that everyone knows. It helps you connect with people no matter where they come from or what language they speak. And English, as a language used all over the world, becomes your tool to use this understanding. It's a way to share your ideas, your stories, and your special point of view with many more people. This trip into human nature and English learning has been about more than just language. It's been about finding a deeper understanding of yourself and where you fit in the world. The learning does not stop here. Think of this as the start of a journey that lasts your whole life. Keep being interested in people. Watch how they talk to each other, how they show their feelings, and what makes them do things. And keep being interested in how you learn. Ask yourself why some things are easy and others are hard. The more you understand the why behind how people act, the more natural and good your English journey will feel. So, go forward with belief. Use your growing understanding of people as your guide, showing you the way in every talk. Let your good English be your voice, clear, strong, and full of the warmth and connection that makes us all human. May your words be heard with clarity and understanding, closing gaps and building connections, wherever your path takes you.